Hey everyone, how's it going? Um, we're back with another episode of Xed Talks. I got a haircut. I'm bald. I feel bald. There's no hair on my head anymore. It's weird. Still, and we took a quarter inch off the top, hitting in my face still. But the sides are an inch and a half shorter, so that's anyway, welcome in to today's stream. I am happy to be here. Just gonna make sure that the live stream is working the way I want it to work, and it's not. Oh, yes, it is. I forgot to add a thumbnail. Give me 1 second to do that. Oop, and do 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 do. Content, live, edit, thumbnail. This one, that thing, this font, and there we go. Okay, sorry about that. I guess I spaced it when I was doing what I was doing before, and it's saving still, so I don't know if it's uploaded yet. But anyway, welcome for the third time. Um, again, happy to be here. I don't really have an idea in mind for what we are doing right now. We currently playing, or not playing. So I had an idea in mind, but I kind of spaced it of what I was going to talk about. Oh, never mind. I remembered. So we're gonna dive right in today. Cause if you didn't watch the first episode, this is my new podcast channel. I'm gonna be doing this as often as I can. Sorry for the delay on when I started this. I did say yesterday that I was going to be doing this at 4 o'clock Mountain Time. I ended up having some things I needed to do, and I didn't get done with my busyness until just barely, like 5 minutes ago. So, um, yeah. So now we're here, and we're having another Xed Talk. Um, this video or this podcast episode is gonna be a little possibly controversial. Um, because I have a shared not hatred, but annoyance, I guess, with most of the people outside of my generation, So, today the topic of the agenda is Gen Z. Now I don't know what year you had to be born in, so I'm gonna look up to be Gen Z. Have to be born to be a Gen Z. Cool. So from 1977 to 2012, so from anyone who is of the age of 12 to 27 right now, um, is part of Gen Z. And I want to go ahead and start off with my generation is kind of whack. Is the way I'm gonna describe it. Kind of whack. Um, there's a lot to go over. There's a lot that I can't think of that I probably should go over, or that I should and that I shouldn't go over as well. Um, But those of you that don't know, if you don't know the generations, there's boomers, which is 1955 to 1964, Gen X, which is 1965 to 1980, which is what my father is in, I believe. Actually, yeah, I think he is just barely. Anyway, no, he's a millennial. Never mind. Anyway, and then there's millennials, which are 1981 to 1996, and then Gen Z, that is 1997 to 2012, and then Generation Alpha, which is the current generation, from 2012 to present day. Um, I'm not gonna talk about Generation Alpha that much, despite the fact that I'm surrounded by only Gen Z people, on a daily because of school, because of going to high school. I mean, that's my age group, that's my generation, and so that's what we get. But the Generation Alpha stuff, otherwise known by the Gen Z people as tablet kids, um, we're not gonna go into those ones because I don't wanna. I don't want to start hatred or anything, so I'm gonna talk about my own generation, and we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna, well, to put things lightly, we're gonna shit on my generation, a little bit. So, to start off, what are some of the events that have occurred that I can think of off the top of my head? Because I'm not gonna look them up. In the past with my generation is a lot of the LGBTQ stuff that has started up a lot in the past few years, or not past few years, but in from my generation and all that. So all of the LGBTQ stuff kind of happened from the older side of the generation, I would say, um, because a lot of the things that did happen were a lot of the movements and a lot of the protests and everything, and a lot of the things around that um, topic and that kind of thing, I guess. So uh, I guess what I want to talk about is what is a Gen Z? What are we? Um, Personally, I don't like my generation that much, and most Gen Z people that are more act more like millennial or act more mature at least, don't actually like our own generation either. So you're not the only ones in our shoes. um, or will we put ourselves in your shoes all the time? Because I mean, I don't like my generation because I get to, like, you go on any social media website and you can go scrolling for, I mean, even if it's just like a brand new fresh account, you can go scroll maybe 3-4 videos and you'll find some Gen Z kid in a furry costume or whatever, uh dancing along to random things about like the I'm an alpha, I'm a leader, that one. There's tons of songs like that. That was the first one I could associate as furries because that's like the most popular. Um but like what I said is there's um a lot of people like that in my generation. There's a lot of the Karens in my generation, at least for the stickler of being LGBTQ and for the pronoun stuff. Um, Personally, I'm a male. I'm not anything else. I personally, might, though it may be controversial, do believe that there are two genders. However, that's me, and I am an ally. I like. I mean, I only like women. I'm strictly heterosexual, and I don't have any want or desire to be with a male. So that's cool. So I'm sorry if any of you are out there like, dang, he's kind of hot. I'm taken, for one, and two. Anyway, um, I'm trying to brainstorm right now of what I really want to talk about because there's just a lot. Uh, One sec. Sorry, I'm being called and summoned, so I will actually be right back. Give me one moment. Hey, sorry about that. I have a busy life. I have things. I thought I was done with everything I needed to do, but I had to finish up something. Anyway, I'm back, and we were talking about my generation. Yippee. Um, Arson, thank you for joining. I assume you left while I was gone, though. But thank you for joining in for a minute. um, Back to it though. The main reason that I personally don't enjoy my generation, I guess, is the way people act towards each other. The hostility that people carry around on a day to day, and the way that people just talk in general. Um, an example, today actually, even I was playing basketball, with one of my friends. His name's John. He's cool, and um, and there was this other guy, who I will leave um unnamed, that we were playing with, that we've played with before, never had a problem with. Usually is a really nice guy. He's a big dude, um, but he's usually a pretty nice guy. And for some reason today, he was being really either having a bad day or just, I don't know. And it's a sport, so I mean, of course, there's gonna be trash talk and all of that stuff. It's kind of a thing, it's natural. But for some reason, it was weird today. He was being really hostile. Um, when he was on a defense. So anytime me and my friend John had the ball, um, he would be super aggressive. Like he would be slamming into us, trying to get us to drop it, and like, yeah, try to take the ball from me. Yeah, it's mine. Like screaming at us, basically, like, it was not scary, but it was dumb. It was honestly just dumb. Um, at one point he missed a layup, right? And my buddy John went for the rebound because that's what you do. He didn't catch the rebound. The other guy did, and then shot again, missed again, and then John got the ball. And so while he's trying to take it back so he can pass or so he can shoot, um, this guy comes up and he digs his hand into my buddy's shoulder, like pushes down on it, grabs at his chain, and he ends up yanking at it with his thumb and breaks his chain. Didn't apologize, wasn't nice about it. I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry," like wasn't nice at all. What he ended up doing was like, "Yeah, try and take the ball from me." And he just runs off with the ball, right? Back to the half court line, right? And then walks over while dribbling the ball and goes, "Hey, I think you broke your chain." And looks at John and he's like, "What?" And he looks at his neck and it's not there. And mind you, this chain was given to him by someone special to him, and it was gold. It was a gold chain, real gold, very expensive chain that was given to him as a gift, and broke it. Didn't ask, didn't apologize, anything like that, and just says, "Hey, I think you broke your chain." Looks down at the floor, and then it's just stupid, right? And then we go back to playing. John sits out for a minute, and then me and my other buddy that we were playing with were like, "This is stupid. This is dumb. We play basketball to have fun, not to be jerks to each other." It was like rival sides. It was like communists versus us, and it was stupid. It was dumb. And they start trash talking again and everything, and I was like, okay, that's fine, it's normal. But then just still being super hostile after being a jerk the entire time. Like, I don't get it. My generation just does that. People are just extremely hostile to each other nowadays, and I don't get it. Because I mean, personally, I'm like a really nice person. Like, anytime something happens, I'll apologize for it. Anytime someone gets hurt, I'll be like, "Hey, are you okay?" Like, I'm a caring person. But seeing people be like that is just dumb. And so many people nowadays are like that. And I mean, it's not just my generation. It's just it's so many different people, and it's insane to me that people will be like that and that they can think that that's okay. Um, and I mean, I get it. There's people that, like, I guess being hostile towards people isn't our biggest problem in the world, but I mean, it could very well lead to being a even greater problem. I mean, it definitely is one of the big problems in the world is just hostility in general because of the that's like the way that things start off is being hostile to each other. But I mean, there's big problems like racism and like the I'm not even there's political stuff and like there's just a lot of problems with today's world that could be solved if people were just people and if people would actually just be nice to each other and realize that what's going on is not really worth it, that it's not ideal to be a jerk or ideal to put people down and talk about the fact that some people are lesser than others. And we've come a long way in history, even to get to the way that things are today. And yet, our lives are still so messed up and twisted sometimes that we don't even realize the problems within our society that um, that occur on a daily basis and the things that can happen just by someone saying one word because one person decides to be more hostile on a day than on a different day. It's it's just it's dumb, you know? I don't get why people are like that. And it's disheartening and it's honestly scary to see us going into the world like that. And especially for my age group, we're all becoming adults, at least for my grade, at least. I'm 17, I'm turning 18 next year, and that means I'm technically an adult. And there's just, there's so many problems and so many things that we have to face that the world doesn't really teach us anything about beforehand. I, and it's hard. Hey, Flaming Dragon, welcome to the stream. Um, it's scary, honestly. The world is twisted and messed up, and it's scary. Um, I tell people this all the time. I'm gonna sidetrack about my generation. I don't. We're on a better conversation now. um, something that I tell people a lot is to focus on today. Um, and what I mean is a lot of people tend to dwell in the past. And while some things you can definitely look into the past and see as a good thing, right? Sometimes there are things. Um, sorry, I'm texting someone back. Anyway, um, sometimes there are things that you can look back towards and they're good things, fun memories, and some things that you don't want to forget and that you shouldn't forget that are important to remember and to take into consideration in the future. Like we learn from our mistakes, yes, but that doesn't mean we need to dwell on our mistakes because if you do, that's just not living. And if you can't understand like basic um, day to day life, it's just really hard to want to be here, to want to get out of bed in the morning, to want to go to school, work, wherever you are going in your life. It's hard to want to get up and to exist, even, which is why suicide rates I mean, one of the contributors, at least, suicide rates have gone up vastly in recent years, is because, or at least part of the reason, and I'm inside source to this because I mean I've had to deal with a lot of suicide things in the past. I'm not gonna elaborate there. I'm not gonna get into that, but there are a lot of reasons for suicide rates going up, and one of them definitely is the fear of the unknown. The um, Everybody dwelling in the past and um, not being able to move forward in their life. I've had a traumatic childhood, but I'm still smiling every day and living my life to my fullest and trying to just be myself. I don't hold grudges on people. I don't get mad very often. I don't let small things like that take over. It's just not healthy for yourself, not healthy for the people around you, and it's just not a comfortable way to live. I believe personally, as my own opinion. Um, uh, but moving on from the past, a lot of people are also scared of the future. Um, and the future is definitely scary, but you don't know what's gonna happen, and that's what people are scared about, is the fear of the unknown, that they will never know what's gonna happen in the next day. You can plan as much as you want. You can plan every day in your life from the moment that you start planning, at least, I guess, to the day you die. You can try planning every day of what you're going to do, but there's only so far you can really plan. And even then, you don't know what's going to happen. You could, like, Flaming Dragon just right now. He said, "Who knows? I could die instantly right now." Yeah, you could die at any point. There could be a meteor that crashes through your window. There could be a tornado that sweeps your car away. There's a million things that can happen in a day. Infinite possibilities. You could get hit by lightning. You could get struck. You could get hit by a car. So many things can happen, and that's what's scary, is that people dwell on that, and they think and they go, "Oh my gosh, the future's terrifying," and I'm gonna quote from Kung Fu Panda right now, um, that today the present is a gift. That's why it's called the present, is because it is a gift. To be able to live in the moment and to be alive is as spectacular on its own, that you even exist. Like, the odds. I know science is not everybody's favorite when it comes to talking about um, uh, like being brought into this world. A lot of people are very religion based, and I accept that. I personally don't follow religion super closely. I'm Buddhist, and that's a lifestyle. There is a religion side to it, but I mostly just follow as the lifestyle. But um, besides the point, the future is terrifying. I'm gonna put it there. That's lightly. Is the future is really terrifying, but you can't dwell in the future, and you can't dwell in the past, because that's not living. That's wondering. And if that's always that what's on your mind is what's gonna come next, what's gonna happen, what's gonna change, then it's it's not worth it. I mean, it's it's not. So I like telling people all the time to not dwell in the past, to not focus on the future. Uh, Um, but today you can think about whatever you want right now. Like, I can know what's gonna happen right now. Sure, I won't know what's gonna happen 20 minutes from now because that's the future. But what's happening this very second is I'm here, sitting here on a podcast, listening to lo-fi on my YouTube channel, in my room, in my house, next to my microphone, right here, with this remote for my LEDs and my glasses right there. I can see everything in front of me. I can feel what's in front of me. I can hear what's around me. There's a fan. There's two. I'm here. I'm present. I'm in the present. I have a guitar. I can play it if I wanted to. You know? There's infinite things that can happen in a day. There's infinite things that can happen in the future. There's infinite. What are the likelihood of you just skyrocketing into the stratosphere out of nowhere? Probably one in something. Probably not even a chance. And you know, like, it's just not worth thinking about that. And I'm this is coming from a perspective of myself, my personal opinions and everything, and me being an absent-minded person as well, helping along with my mental state at every and any given point in time, because I happen to not be able to think very well, and I have a problem with actually thinking thoughts. Um, like I said, absent-minded. It's a struggle sometimes because being able to think is something that we take for granted, for real. Um, because there's everyday things, right? Like, you have all your five senses, and you have all of those things, and they're just second thought. You have all the organs in your body, but you don't have to think about using the organs in your body. They just work. Your brain's work. But sometimes there are things that you can't control. Like me. I'm absent-minded. I don't think ever, really. I'm not thinking right now. I'm just talking. If I were to stop and try to think, I probably couldn't think a single thought. I'm gonna be honest. And it's a blessing and a curse in and of itself. Because there's things that definitely you should think about in life. There's things that need to think about. But I don't know. It's not something that everyone can do. Um, me being one of them, and that's completely okay. One in a whatever that number is. Out of nowhere, your house could blow up. It could. It theoretically could. It's not gonna, unless there's a bomb or something that's gonna make it blow up. But theoretically, yes, your house could blow up at any given point in time. House could burn down. That one's probably more likely. A lot more likely, actually. But life is life, and you don't get to pick and choose what happens. As much as we like to try to control our futures, especially like basic things that are necessities in life at this point, like retirement plans and insurance and things like money related stuff, we budget to plan for our future, but we don't know what we're gonna have to buy. That's why emergency budgets are a thing. But we don't know how much money we're gonna need in our emergency budgets. People just make a guess of what they might need, of what they might use. And then sometimes they don't get used, and then they get they get saved somewhere else, or sometimes they get used way too often. Life is a mystery. The future is a mystery. But today is a gift. That is why they call it the present. It's, that's all. Um, that's all I have for you today. Um, so yeah, that is my take. That is my TED talk on my opinion of life and a little bit about Gen Z and my insight to very little actually of what I don't like about my generation. But yeah, so thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. I'd appreciate it if you shared. That's how I can get out there and how I can spread the word of whatever and how I can have more interesting content for you guys in the future. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching.